favourite council, which is Hull Council. Just want to say that for the record. Good afternoon. Yes, we're back again. We're back again like a bad penny. We come back. Tuesday afternoons. Will they ever be the same again? As we're going to talk about customer service today and how to make the phone your friend. So there will be some little bit of something unexpected might appear. But as always, we've got to have some levity. Got to have a quiz. And so we've always got to remind people what we're going to do first. Well, obviously we're recording this. We have the chat line available for communication, and we have the relevant social media configurations. If you feel like saying something nice on social media, that would be nice. My Twitter follower, I think he's here. He'll be listening at some stage. But we're going to have a quiz, and the quiz has got a little bit of relevance to today's events. It is a customer service quiz. Actually, with a slight twist. And we've just been talking about the movies, May the 4th and all that good stuff, Star Wars. Oh my goodness, get me excited. But it's going to be famous movies with phone scenes. Who can guess the movie? There we are. So here we go. First up, famous movie scenes with phones in on the chat line. Who is going for this one? What film was that? Does anybody know? Come on. I think George knows. He knows. Come on. You can, and you get a prize if you yeah, show me the money. He's on it today, is Gary. Show me the money. Yeah. There, look at the phone. There we are. So that was none other, you know it, Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire. And Tom Cruise was recently spotted in the village of Levisham. Yeah. Someone's sitting there thinking, wonder where Levisham is. Well, if you've been on the North York Moors Railway, it's the first stop from Pickering. And they're filming there. And he's actually now in Derbyshire in a quarry, as you do, And there he is, old Tom. Yeah. He's only 5'8". He's very small. Very small. He's big bad. So there we go. Right, that's what's first film up, and there we go. What's next on the list? What's next on? Oh yeah! I tell you what a great film. Now you all know what that film is. Come on! But for extra bonus points today, can you tell me the name of one of those actors? Oh, you weren't expecting that. Honestly, you can't get away with it. Oh yes, that were the good old days. Great film, great sit. Oh, what's on the chat line here? Oh, George, you're on. He's on fire today. Adam West. Yeah, there he is. I didn't. You can watch that film on two levels, can't you? One is for kids, and the other is the sort of irreverence in it. So there we go. Right, what's up next? Oh yeah. Now here's a bit of a different one. Give you a clue. Give you a clue to this one. Alfred Hitchcock. So which famous Alfred Hitchcock film with this great phone scene was that? Does anybody know that? And the beautiful lady in the foreground. Oh, yeah. What a princess. Or clue, a clue. Anyone know that? No, you don't? Oh, no one's going to win today's prize. That was Dial M for Murder. Oh, great film about a husband who wants his wife killed. Yeah, there we go. Who was the fourth man in the film? Quick reference ad. Hey, can we go for a bit? And no spoilers if you haven't seen Sundays, H and all that sort of stuff. Bit disappointing, wasn't it, really? I didn't expect it to be. Did you? Did you? No, me neither. Right. Oh, honestly, we talk about Star Wars, and if you, goodness gracious, there we are. Phone home. Yeah. Anyone remember that? Extraterrestrial. 1982. Goodness gracious. Right, let's move on now. Come on then. Extra bonus points. Which famous phone scene was that in a film? Anybody know that one? Oh, anybody know that one? Oh, we've leapt on a bit. A glimpse the next one. That was, oh, no one's got that one. Do you know, that was Dr. Strangelove. And none other than the great Peter Sellers. Oh, what a great film. Or with a film, Stanley Kubrick film, a great film, with an alternative title as well. What's next? Oh, hang on, because you've already had a glimpse. Oh, no, every time I see this film, I cry. I cry every time I see this film. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, Christmas film. Oh, dear me. Oh, it's such a wonderful life. I used to be able to do an impression of Jimmy Stewart, you know, but I won't inflict upon it. But what a great film! If you haven't seen it, yeah. But anyway, let's move on. I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic today. Now, does anyone know that famous phone scene? Which film is that? Oh dear me, they're all. I'm seeing it all today. Do you want me to sing? So yeah, you be a bit clue. No river. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yeah, beats breakfast at McDonald's. I know that for sure. Right, we go. Look at that. Who remembers that? Anyone going to take that? That's a film which had a very, very famous scene in. That was none other than, wasn't it? It was. Was that when Harry met Sally? I think it probably was. And let's move along swiftly. Oh, look at him. Who's on the right there? Doesn't he look young? Doesn't he look young? Gosh, doesn't he look young? Yeah. Tom Hanks. Yeah. Sleepless in Seattle. And I think what's finally here, oh, reminds me, I must buy a pizza. Anyone know what that film is? No. No. That was Casino. No, unless close. There's a bit of a joke in there when I said I must buy a pizza. Yeah. Goodfellas. Goodfellas. Oh, well, yeah, it was worth a try, wasn't it? Right, all right, move on. Let's get on with it. Now, here we go. Part 2 of the quiz. Part 2. Why do customers make a telephone call? Anyone want to know? Because on the next slide, the answer to the survey is in front of us. Anyone know the principal reason why customers make a phone call? Anyone want to take a wild guess at that? There are 3 main reasons. Well, I'll put you out in misery. Isn't it clever, isn't it? I wish I could design that slide myself. Gosh, remember those phones when your fingers would be killing you, wouldn't they, when you were dialing? Anyway, move along. Why do you use a phone to contact a company? Well, there's 3 principal reasons. You want to get your problem solved quickly. You want to communicate with a real person. And you believe it's the best way to receive correct information. There are the principal 3 reasons. But is the phone still relevant? I hear you ask, is it still relevant? Because phone volumes have dropped since 2015 quite considerably, and probably that trend is going to continue. Because is it fair to say the millennials amongst us don't tend to like using the phone? Is that true? Because we've moved now towards something else called self-service. And this has been accelerated, I think, since the pandemic, that self-service has taken place. So you will maybe in a situation where you are with a, not just like with Amazon, but elsewhere, where you are communicating with a customer, but all through artificial intelligence. So one thing you may wish to think about is the use of the likes of Chatbot on your website. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, come on, Simon, I can't afford a chatbot. What's all that about? Well, you can. And there is an example of a chatbot. So there you are. And they can be programmed and they can cater, invariably, it's often considered for about 80% of most inquiries. The majority of inquiries are of a similar nature. Similarly to a chatbot. So some of you are sitting there thinking, come on, Simon, come on, tell me which chatbots I should be using. Well, these are for WordPress websites. So there is I know Jeanette's on the call today, and she has a cafe on the coast, which has a WordPress website, the Great Watermark Cafe in Scarborough. Quick plug there. And you can use the likes of Messenger, a Facebook product, to use a chatbot, integrating Messenger and having that as a chatbot on your website. Or how about these are all free, by the way. Botify. Let your bot chat like a human. Oh, there we go. Because it's interesting about reducing costs and increasing sales. Interesting thought process there. So Botify is another one, or my favorite name, IBM product. Yeah, Watson Assistant. I thought that title was absolutely elementary. I know what, quick little tangent here. Can you remember the film? A bit of film theme today. 2001: Space Odyssey. And the computer was called HAL. Do you know why it was called HAL? Any thoughts? Well, it's because IBM, HAL, next letters in the alphabet. How about that? You'll be sitting there tonight watching Series 6, Episode 6, thinking, actually, I've learned something today. Right, here we are. So they are chatbots. You can use 3 chatbots, integrate them with your website, and that will be an addendum, an additional item to your customer service. But we're going to talk about phones. But chatbots can't do everything. They can't. No, they can't. Because they will not have humor. And they won't have possibly empathy in the same way. They can't do everything, but they will be a very valuable, and they are coming and they're here, and you probably use them all the time. But customer service on the phone matters. It sure does. Still, for many people, they love to talk to somebody. It makes people feel valued. For many businesses, it is nigh on impossible to get through to somebody. But for the small businesses, it certainly becomes an integral part. Now you're thinking, really, what is the goal of actually having the ability for customer service on the telephone? And it's really simple. You can address a need so a person can start or continue to do business with you. That old classic cliche, but time-honored, that you never get the second chance for a first impression, the first touch with a business. If you have a great response or a positive response by phone, it sets the table. And it's really about this, about being engaging and personable. So you engender loyalty and make people happy. Picking up the phone and having it dealt with in a professional way is probably the best things you can do from a customer service perspective. I've shown this slide before. It takes you through, in effect, the atypical customer journey. So they start life as a stranger, so it's invariably awareness. Maybe the stranger then is considering your option or purchase. You'll retain them, and then you hope the customers will become advocates. Now, all the way through this journey, you can be talking on the telephone. One thing I always say to clients, particularly in business to business, get a pen and paper, like I'm just doing now, a little pad, start of Monday, and just keep a note of how many customers you've actually telephoned. And you get a put on the naughty step and a little black mark if it's no more, not more than 5. About ringing up a customer in the morning and in the afternoon, 10 a week as a bare minimum. Find an excuse. to talk to them. It's a great way in which you can do exactly what was suggested about engagement. But let's move on. Let's talk about how you should answer the phone. How about this? Well, is there a magic way of doing it? Well, first things first, the best piece of advice you could ever give anybody when they answer the phone is to smile while you're doing it. Smile. What? Wait a moment. Yes, remember, you'll be surprised about it is not Rockford Files. Remember the Rockford Files? They're the answering machine. Think about this. You will be surprised. No, you won't be. You may be. You may be surprised. How many people have, as an answering machine message on their phone, Vodafone? Is that really the right way in which to build a brand? So you ring somebody up and you get through to a voicemail that's the recorded default message by Vodafone. Do you think that's building a brand? Do you think that's giving a sales opportunity? Do you think that's engaging? I would suggest not. So how about this as a message? If you haven't done it already, or you listen or you hear somebody, go get your message changed. So here's an atypical example on the screen, which I will read out for those of you who are like Liz, who might be walking the dog, can't see the screen, thinking, come on, Simon, read off the screen. I can hear it. So, hi, you've reached Joe Blogs from Joe Blogs Limited. I'm sorry I'm not able to answer your call at the present time. Please leave your name, number, and a quick message at the tone, and I'll return your message as soon as I can. Simple stuff. But what we want to do is hopefully have the right cadence, the right speed, and to sound enthusiastic. While you're doing it, don't sound like it is somewhat funereal experience to deal with you. So, yeah, get your answer machine sorted. So you can do lots of different ways. Hello, this is Joe Blogs. I'm either away from my desk or on the phone. Please leave your name and number along with a short message. I'll come back to you. I'll surely get back to you. It also applies to businesses who may not be 24-hour service, etc., or even use a virtual PA to answer your phone for you. Thought about that? Yeah, you can do that. So here we go. Shall we hear an atypical call? Now let's hope this is going to, I'm going to check on the thing. Is it going to come up on the screen? Here we have a call. How about trying this? Let's hope you can hear it. If not, drop me a note on the thing. I've been in work. Let's see if this works. Oh, it's not started. Here we go.
Hello, ABC.
Wow. There was a call and there was somebody answering it. Did you hear that? I hope you did. Now, what was good about that? Or was not so good? Well, I'll tell you something. How does that sound? I think, if I remember rightly, it took 6 rings to answer it. The tone of the lady answering it wasn't great. It certainly felt like an interruption, and she spoke very fast. Not good, eh? Not left with a very favourable impression. So, think about this as your benchmark or your KPI. They're 3 rings. Please try and answer within 3 rings. I think that is often considered to be in call centres, endeavouring to do that. Sometimes you can actually be counterproductive to answer almost immediately. So you might want to wait a second so you don't actually sound desperate. But 3 rings, 3 rings. And how about this? For a professional opening to a call, what do you think about this?
Good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you?
How did that sound? Well, I think it was all right.
Today.
I have to repeat that. Forgive me, I got interrupted. Let me try again. Let's try again. One more time. One more time. From the top.
Good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you today?
There we go. So what are your thoughts on that? Walks you back again. You can't get rid of it now. It passed the 3 rings test. The lady who answered the phone sounded positive, professional. It was clear, and there was enthusiasm without being overzealous, I think would be a fair description. So, good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you? And I think coming on to some rules of the game here, please endeavour with the 3 rings. Introduce yourself. You're a human being. So, good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you? Or, good morning, this is Bob from ABC Limited. How can I help you? You might have noticed something then, and I am guilty of this, and many people are. When you answer the phone, sometimes we speak too quickly, and you don't pause. So I would suggest next time you make a call to somebody on this situation, and or when you receive a call, please endeavour just to speak a tiny bit slower or more precisely. So think about that, so people can actually hear your name and the name of the company. Because invariably what will happen if you said, good morning, ABC, good morning, this is Bob from ABC Limited. How can I help you? A perfect scenario is, good morning, Bob. And so you've got instantaneous human interaction rather than fumbling around. So speak slowly, precisely. And here, a good old pen and paper. Even if you've got chalk or whatever you've got, I haven't got a photographic memory. What did I say just then? So always have a pen and paper. It's a great way of remembering names. You ever watch things like Question Time on the telly? Yeah. You'll often see the politician without listening to the question from the audience, and they will remember the person's name from the audience. So it's Bob from Shrewsbury's asked a question, and a great way of answering the question is, oh, hello, Bob. Thank you for your question. It's called empathy. So there we go. So you've introduced yourself, then the 3 C's. What are the 3 C's? All about the voice. Hey! That guy, he's cool, isn't he, that guy? Anyway, 3 C's. Confident, cheerful, and clear. Confident, cheerful, clear. And the same rules apply to you and your answering machine. Play it back. Get somebody to ring up and actually have a listen to what you say. Anyway, as I said, please try and smile. Another little tip, actually, you are, believe it or not, slightly more assertive when you're standing up, when you speak to somebody. So you may wish to think you get a phone call and you may wish to stand up to talk to somebody. How about that? Yeah, there you go. So, but also the 3 C's, but don't be frightened of a little clarification.
Good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you?
It's Callum here, Davis Construction.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name. Would you mind repeating?
Oh, it's me. It's Callum from Davis Construction.
Oh, thank you, Callum. I just want to make sure we get that right. My name's Louise, and how may I help you today, Callum?
So how do you like that? So never be frightened in that situation. Somebody could be on a mobile phone, dodgy line, who knows what. Actually asking for clarity. So the conversation progresses so much better. But when you meet somebody for the first time and you miss their name, oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch your name. Wouldn't it be better to do that rather than fumble around wondering what they're called? And the same applies here. In that situation, Callum was a bit incoherent. He was asked for clarity, but then the lady talking there gave her name as well. So it became Callum talking to Louise. So there we go. Clarification, the fourth C. Active listening. Well, what is listening? It means hearing everything they have to say. The greatest art in sales and customer service is to listen, and listen really hard. So sometimes it's one of the hardest things to do, but absolutely listening to what they have to say, and you reply relative to what they've said and not just read off a prescribed script. Listening. The greatest salespeople, the greatest customer service people have the best listening skills. What they have said, not what you think they have said. And that's where you can go back to the clarity again. Oh, I'm sorry, would you mind repeating that? I didn't quite understand if you wanted black or white or red or whatever it might be. With absolutely no harm in asking for clarity. And that will help with the listening. Because it's always said, a good against a not so good salesperson is the best salespeople are listeners. They do not talk over the questions. A good listener asks questions and doesn't assume. Confident, friendly, etc. You'll have a copy of the slide, but it's a great thing to do. Please, please, please listen. There we go. And another one here. Use positive words. What do you mean by that, Simon? Well, please endeavor to say, avoid words like, phrases like, I don't know, I can't, you have to, you need to. It's much better to try and think about positive words. So one of the best ways of doing this, when your pen and paper is by your desk, you may wish to have a mini thesaurus or a few phrases you may wish to adopt. You know, somebody, quick aside, somebody stole my thesaurus the other day, absolutely furious. There's no other word for it. So think that you may wish to have your own choice of words. And so choosing things like, it's my pleasure, would be happy to, and you give people the options. And I'll give you an illustration on one of the next calls we're going to show. I'm going to tell a story about customer service, about the Premier Inn. Ever go to when we were allowed out? You ever go to the Premier Inn and you stand in reception and you listen to them talk, and you hear them talking to clients in the restaurant and on the telephone? They're very well coached. They're very, very brand aware, and it's quite clever how they do this. And I'll tell you a story. I was in a Premier Inn a while back. It was a while back. Yes, you know what. And I was in the bedroom, and I had me breakfast, and I was leaving. It was a bit later than normal. It was about 8:45. I was walking down the corridor with my suitcase, and there I was, and the lady was there, started to do the room preparation. It's a housekeeper type role, and she stopped me and said, "Good morning, sir." Good morning. I thought it might just be the end of the conversation, and she said, "Did you enjoy your stay?" So I did, thank you. She said, and then she started to ask me about what I actually enjoyed about the stay. So it was actually trying to understand if I had a good experience, but also why. Now that conversation lasted about 45 seconds, but it was far better than just saying good morning. It went a little deeper, so it was ingrained within her and within the team there to actually do this empathy, the idea that you are treating your customers as if they were people rather than just robotic questions. Yeah, quick tangent. Here we go. Quick question. Does anyone know what SPO means in this context? Famous term, SPO. Well, we've all got them. We've all seen them. They are known as, yes, you guessed it, sales prevention officers. You've probably been to many different businesses and seen them in action. And here is a good example of a sales prevention officer.
Good morning, Fast Print.
Hi there. I'll be looking at your website. I see you guys do printing. We've got a campaign going. Can you get something done within like 24 hours?
Oh, right. Well, we're so busy at the moment. We're absolutely flat out. Wait a minute. Well, Andy's on his lunch. He'd know. Could you ring back in about half an hour? Make it an hour. Make it an hour.
All right then.
Cheers.
The onus was put on the customer. The customer was on the back foot. The customer felt like he was almost on the naughty step. The onus was placed on him. All he was doing was asking if he could fulfill that need. And the lady who answered the phone, maybe she thought she'd answered it nicely. How do you think he felt? Maybe not so good. Maybe there's an opportunity that was lost there. Because ultimately, what you're trying to do when someone is inquiring, you're wanting to convert them from a prospect into a customer, or from a existing customer to maybe a more profitable or customer buying more. So you do this by creating opportunities on the phone.
Good morning, ABC Limited. How may I help you?
Hi, love. Just looking at your website, and I wanted to know if you lads deliver to Bridlington.
Oh, right. What would you like to order?
30 tons of sand, love.
Okay, let me just check with our logistics team, please. One moment. Hello there. Our normal delivery radius is 20 miles, but on this occasion, we'd be really pleased to help you, and we can get it there for Friday if that's convenient.
Fantastic. I'll just get details for you. Great. Thanks, love.
So you've got a slight problem. You can't fulfill the need, but you're turning it into hopefully into an opportunity without trying to win brownie points or make the customer feel uncomfortable. So it was well handled, but maybe there was, they checked, the person wasn't held on long. It was positive. We don't normally deliver to Bridlington, but we're prepared, we're happy to help. Whatever the phrase, it probably wasn't perfect phraseology, but they were helping the client out. So they maybe felt valued. The client felt valued. In the previous call, they didn't. So there's always the opportunity, and it was missed on that occasion, for upselling. The old classic, do you want fries with that? But you have to earn the right to upsell. You've got to listen intently. And there are often the clues are in front of your very eyes, in the customer's account or their behavior. And you may be planting seeds throughout the conversation. But critically, upselling all comes just to simply asking a few questions, but also asking for the sale. And here's just an example of upselling.
Our normal delivery radius is 20 miles, but on this occasion, we'll be really pleased to help you, and we can get that to you for Friday. Is that convenient?
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks, love.
May I ask, Would you require any other building materials with your sand? Cement, bricks or blocks, for instance?
It's funny to know. We're using Ibstock natural bricks. Is that something you do? Because we're looking for about 20,000.
Yes, we do stock Ibstock Natural. I can get some information to you in an email. I can get a quote and I can ring you in an hour to confirm all the details for Friday.
That's great. I'll just give you my get my number and details for you, and I'll have a word with secretary to get email address. But that's great. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else that you require for Friday?
Well, actually, there is. We could do
And the classic situation there was always ending the conversation. So they had a requirement for sand, they've asked for other products, and it's that classic question at the very end. Is there anything else or derivatives thereof? Because you're giving the customer the opportunity. You've planted some seeds, and it's fairly inoffensive. It's not a hard sell. Just hopefully you've helped them. Is there anything else we can help you with? There's so many. You go into a shop and buy a shirt, you might need a tie. The classics, whatever you can think of, would shoehorn in a cafe. You order, coffee. You want, cookie with that, whatever it might be. The whole thing. You've got ancillary products. So, good examples of upselling. I'll give you now. There's obviously two ways of looking at things. There's the inbound calls and the outbound. Now, come on. Who doesn't like making outbound phone calls? Come on. Who's going to put the hand up? Yeah. Not easy, is it? One of the biggest issues I encounter is I blooming hate making outbound calls. Oh, I don't want to be a stalker. Oh, worst nightmare. I'd rather make a speech at a wedding. Ultimately, it's mindset. What's the worst thing that can happen? Here is a little something to help you along. Think of the pair. Think of the pair. PEAR. So when you're making a call, construct a framework, not a script, thinking that your pair. P for the personal introduction. E to establish your credentials. A to awaken the customer's interest. R is request permission to proceed. Personal, introduction, establish, awaken, request. And it comes in this form. So here we are. Good morning, Mr. X. I am John Smith from ABC Limited. They know who you are. I look at the E, the establish your credentials. I look after your customer inquiries, or thank you for your inquiry regarding our product, or thank you for your phone call, thank you for your email, whatever it be. You're telling people, the reason, principal reason why they're making the call and why it's you. And then you go into far more detail here. And it's explaining, awaken the customer's interest. My reason for phoning is in connection with your recent order for sand and building materials for the site in Bridlington. It's a follow-up call, and is it okay with you to please have 2 minutes of your time? Personal introduction, explain, awaken the company's interest, and ask permission to continue. Now, you would argue, you can easily say no, but if you are saying, can I have a short amount of time, or if you can't, then it's when can I ring you back? So it's a little way you might wish to construct a way, and the secret, if there is one, is to practice, practice, and practice. Because for every day you don't practice, it takes a day longer to get better. There you are, thought of the day. And the real one here, the real issue is that it's been said, if you're making what may be construed to be a cold call or a telephone call, please bear in mind, it does take as many as 6 attempts. 6. So please don't be worried if you miss them first, second, third time. So I wouldn't advocate calling somebody 6 times in the same day. think about that. And then there's a right time to call people, so you might want to space it out throughout the day. Never be frightened of actually ringing people. Now, one question often asked is, should I leave a message on the answering machine? Can do, but you can say, hello, it's Bob from ABC Limited. Just ringing regards X, I will try you again. Or maybe you want to name the time. It might be a better way of doing it, but not necessarily only to give half a story. In effect, the P and the E. See, coming back then, read to the customer journey, and your call is relative to where they are on the journey. So your attitude may be slightly different if it's an awareness situation or they're already a customer that's purchasing, where there may be some camaraderie or some banter takes place. So you may adjust yourself according to where you are. And one of the best things you can ever do is to try and encourage your customers to be advocates. So if your customer, for example, is an advocate for you or is a long-standing customer, your "is there anything else I can help you with" question might well be, do you know of anyone who you can refer me to? Or who anyone might need my services? So I think Gary's on the call, a local photographer who may well be, doing work for somebody and doing a great job as a wedding photographer or a product shot, and you might be asking them for somebody who you may well need their services. So lots of you there, Liz, the voiceovers, again, there may be somebody with unique existing customer you may be able to recommend somebody else. I'm sure there's many others you can ask, but your customers are invariably your best referrers and your best advocates. Let's complete today's little soiree with the latest in customer service. There is a growth in social media shopping. So again, it's taking things away from the telephone. So you can see a shift for those of you in consumer-based products may well be moving down that line. But again, many people are following retailers on social media to learn about products and keep up with them. So it may just be part of your marketing mix. And many customers may well be engaging with you, not just by using a chatbot, but by also over social media, which comes back to the growth of chatbots, which you've already mentioned, and omni-channel marketing. What is that, I hear you cry? Well, it's the idea that things are much more personalized now. So it's the use of the likes of the apps and the likes of all the things that you are tailoring to the customer's needs, because you're in control of people's data. It's probably the switch in the greatest thing in that customer service isn't one size fits all. You may treat customers very much related to their personal circumstances, which can be over the telephone with your situation or through the likes of knowing about their behavior. But whatever you do, business is won, kept, and lost if you do not provide a great customer experience. Because you can probably think of many occasions where you've been well looked after and when you've not been so well looked after. So giving people a great experience. And finally, as I've mentioned already, artificial intelligence, the use of whatever it might be, is certainly a way that things are moving. So it won't be long before, if not so already, you've seen it with the chatbots and elsewhere, and the way that people behave, but the growth and development of artificial intelligence is there. But I love it to be an addendum to what you do. If you can personalize things, great. If you can keep it face-to-face, great. If you can't and you're trading e-commerce, this may well be your future. But don't we all like to be dealt with nicely? So today's webinar has now concluded. Thank you very much for being here. It has been recorded. The chat line has been there. And if anybody has any further questions, I'll take them in a moment before we mention what's coming next. Next week is all about sales leads. 10 ways in which you can develop for sales leads and get sales leads into your business all for free. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. Looking forward to that. And without further ado, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. And if not, I'm going to see if we got that. Can we just say while I'm on, just want to say hello to Liz's dog. Out walking again. Good. So, if there are any questions, if not, I will wish everybody a good afternoon. Just quickly checking the chat line. If there are not, I will conclude by thanking you all for attending, as always. And just remember, great customer experience. Find any excuse you can to talk to your customers. Make some outbound calls. Integrate it with artificial intelligence if you can. Give people a great experience, and you'll differentiate yourself from the crowd. There we go. There endeth the lesson. We're back next Tuesday. Same time, same back channel. Adios. Au revoir. Adieu.